Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, a scuba diver descends 45 meters every 10 minutes. Which of the following graphs shows the rate in this situation? So what's the first thing that I noticed? I see a 45, right? Because we're talking about a scuba diver. And if you remember what that means, it's a person, right, who goes underwater, right? So he's going how many meters? He's descending 45 meters every 10 minutes, okay? So if you are descending, means going underwater, is that going to be a positive or a negative number? It's going to be a negative number, okay? And you will see that in the graph in a minute, okay? Now, what I want to do next is I want to check on my graph and I want to see who's X and who's Y. For example, I can see the minutes and I see the word time over here. And even though it looks like opposite of the line up there, this is actually my X. Don't let that get you confused, okay? So the X is the minutes, which is right there. And how much he's descending is gonna be the Y, because it's talking about how deep the person is going, right? How deep he is actually going underwater, and that's my Y value. So what I want to do next, I want to write the labels in here. So the meters is the Y and the minutes is the X. So if I was to write down an order pair with X and Y values, then X will be 10 and Y will be 45. Is that right? Okay. Now, since I said negative, what do I know about that 45? Is it a positive 45 or a negative 45? It's going to be a negative 45, right? Because we agree that descending gives me the number to be a negative, okay? So if you notice, there was another word that said rate. Which one shows the same rate? So rate, I'm hoping that you are bringing to your memory something about rate of change, right? Which might relate to change of the Y over change of the X. Is that right? So the Y is going to be the depth of that scuba diver, and the X is going to be the minutes. And now I can write down my ratio. So the Y value is negative 45 and the X value is 10. I am going to go ahead and simplify those numbers. So I am going to divide by who? What number can divide both of them? 5. Very good. Okay. So I will get negative 45 divided by 5 is negative 9. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I see two equivalent ratios right now. Negative 45 over 10 and negative 9 over 2. They're equivalent, okay? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come back to my problem and I'm going to see if I can find those in the graph. So I'm going to write down the second number that I found, my second ratio, as an order pair. Just in case you feel more comfortable finding the points as an order pair, then as a change of the Y and change of the X. So remember, my numerator was a change of the Y and my denominator is the change of the X. Therefore, X is 2 and Y is negative 9. Okay, so what I need to do next, I need to find those numbers. Okay, so on my X, I need to find what number? If I want to do the first one that was given to me, I will need to find X as a 10, which is right here. But then I will need to find a negative 45. Now, think about Y is my X up here. This is like the water, okay? This is like the water level. And the scuba diver is going under. That's the reason why my numbers, if you notice here, they are negative numbers. If I want to do my graph a little bit more, I'm just going to do it so that you can see. This should be positive x's, this should be negative x's. These are positive y's, and below are negative y's. Okay, so my negative y that I'm looking for is negative 45. I don't have enough. I only reach up to negative 20. That's the reason why I needed to find an equivalent number. Okay, so I cannot use that one, right? But I can use this one over here, 2 and negative 9. So 2, I'm going to find that on x, which is right here. Now I need to find y as a negative 9. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm counting by 2's. So be careful with that. So this is 8. So negative 9 will be somewhere over here. Is that right? So I'm going to find that point where these two intersect. And that point is not near my line. So it cannot be letter A. Okay? Let's go to B. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go 2 on x, which is right here. And I'm going to find negative 9. This is negative 2, negative 8. Negative 9 is somewhere over here. So I'm going to go up and across. What do you notice? It's still not on the line, right? So it cannot be letter B. Okay? What about C? I'm still going to go with that one. Positive 2 is right here. And negative 9, I'm going to find it on the y-axis, right? Which is right here, negative 9. So go up on 2. And then you're going to go across at negative 9. And that looks pretty much on the line. Is that correct? Okay, so that could be a good answer for me. Let's check letter D, just so that we confirm that D cannot be an answer. So I'm going to check on 2 for x. And I'm going to go to 9, which is right here. Okay, I'm going to go up. And right here. Okay, that cannot be an answer. And I don't know if you noticed, but letter D looks like it's starting at negative 2, which means that he's not starting at right at the water level, right? So be careful with those minor things that you might see. So therefore, my answer for this should be letter C. Very good. Okay, so even though they're not asking you to write a complete sentence of the situation, I want to make sure that you understand where the negative 9 and the 2 is coming from. So this means something like this. It takes 2 minutes. Is that right? It will take 2 minutes for the scuba diver to descend 9 meters. Is that right? So every 2 minutes, he can descend 9 meters. And you can write down the same comparison and finding what I call equivalent fractions. So this will be equals to negative 18 over 4 if you multiply by 2. If you multiply by 3, it will be negative 27 over 6. If you multiply by 4, it will be negative 36 over 8. And if you were to multiply by 5, you will have negative 45 over 10. And notice how that number is actually the one that I started with. Is that correct? And this one over here, the negative 9 over 2, that was my final answer once I simplify. So you can actually check any of those points to see if they are in your graph. For example, negative 18 and 4. So this will be 4 right here. And negative 18 will be right here. And if you walk and meet the number, that point is also on the line. Okay, so these are all equivalent ratios for the same problem that you have.